Good morning, patients. Welcome to your appointment with Dr. Ferdinand Emiel. Please leave your daily stresses and worries outside, grab your go-to cozy drink, and sit back to enjoy our time together. Go down in the comments, tell me how you've been doing this week, and tell me what you're having for a drink today. We have a saying around here that goes, En avril ne te découvre pas d'un fil. If I translate directly, it means in April don't remove one thread, or basically you should always expect cold and possible snow all the way until the end of the month. And certainly we have been getting it for at least the month of March. It's still quite cold and we are still getting a bit of snow here and there. So with winter being extra clingy, I decided I needed a nice dose of vitamin green, so that's why we are going with the Guardian of Nature today. And on top of that, guess who, after saying he would stay lazy and relax at home for his days off, still decided to take an overtime shift? Yeah, that's me. That's right. So despite saying I would do mostly nothing, here I am, going to work for an evening shift tomorrow, and that's another reason why I wanted to come back to that game. I felt like I needed the extra cozy right now. And so to properly get into that cozy, let me just take care of something real quick. Let's hope it won't get me into any trouble with YouTube. I don't see... Alright, excellent. I don't see why it would. I mean, it could be anything, right? There you go. What a poor look at that. Absolute perfection. Okay, so let's get into it. I took some notes. I remember where we were at, but I did take some notes as I was editing last time because it has been quite a while, and I wanted to make sure that I would remember what I was thinking about as I was editing, and it's not related to what we were doing in the game exactly so much as it was related to the game itself. We will get into that later as we go. But for now, since we have the battery, we should be able to power up our raft here. And yes, of course, I have to get that in. There we go. Frogs connect deeply to their environment. For them, balance is a vital requirement. When something's wrong, they barely leap. Henry starts to fear that trouble runs deep. So that frog should not be sleeping then. So we have to find a way to wake up our friend. Is that what is up at the moment? Because we cannot go around it. Let's go back and let's see. Let's see if we have anything new we can figure out for our friend. Sorry, I'm adjusting my chair here a bit. I was a bit too far, I find. So we'll go around. We will have a look at everything that we've gone through so far, and we will see if there is anything we can do with whatever we have already visited. So this should take us, if I remember correctly, it takes us on the other side of the pond. And we were not able to do anything with these foxes, with these cubs, or with the space up here. Maybe that's different now that we have the battery. Can we throw something at it to wake it up? I don't think so. So that's the thing I was thinking about. So I'm currently listening to a podcast. I know I've mentioned before how I'm a big fan of the Lord of the Rings. I'm listening to a deep dive podcast. It's not an audiobook or anything. It's just a podcast that goes through the Tolkien Legendarium. So the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, and the Lord of the Rings, and so trust me, it's gonna relate to the game. At some point, I'll get there. Now I'm on the part that goes over the Lord of the Rings, but especially for The Hobbit, it was talking about how it's much more of a fairy tale than the Silmarillion or the Lord of the Rings, and the host of the podcast talks about it a lot. When I was editing the video, the game does it gives me a vibe of fairy tale, of course, but it's also kind of not exactly at the same time. I mean, it's very whimsical. You don't have any talking animals or anything, but the whole thing about nature and all that. And one big element of fairy tales and legends and mythology, just in general. So we'll go back to the house. First, I think I did not go through the basement yet. So that's it, mythology and whatnot. There is this idea of the wilds, and here I'm talking about the wilds as with a capital W, and it's this notion that, so that's where we found the battery. The notion that things outside of the civilized world, things out in nature, out in the forest, are untamed, and they're savage, they're dangerous, and it is not likely that you should be going out in nature, that you should be going out in the forest, and that you should be going out in the wilds. And I mentioned mythology, because there's always Greek and Roman gods that were out in the forest. Those gods were not always necessarily, not that they weren't good, but you would not always get a good deal out of it. And of course, then it keeps going in medieval times and whatnot. And it's the idea here that if you associate the wilds with danger, in this case here, what happens is that the wilds, it's turning everything on its head, right? Where civilized equals safe and wild equals dangerous. In this case, Henry, our character, safety and home is actually the wilds, and we are the ones protecting it from outsiders. And I think that's what I found that was an interesting concept that they took, where the wilds is not an unknown at all. Guardians of nature have mastered it even. I mean, I don't know if that was the idea, but if it is, that's quite interesting, I thought. So let's see. We have the frog. Deeply connected to their environment, balance. If something's wrong, they barely leap. The trouble runs deep. Does that mean I have to take it at face value? And that trouble running deep means I should go down in the caves to figure out what is wrong. That could be it. Oh, and we can fast travel. That's true. So we will do just that, and we will go back to the cave with the foxes, and we will see if there's anything we can work out on that end. We had the squirrel move out of the way, so we could access this zone here. And I mean, why? That's the question. Why are we here on this side? What can we do? Is it that we need something to bring here to then wake the frog up, or is it that the way is open so we could get something from here? Because it doesn't seem at the moment we can interact even with the foxes. Alright, so there we have it. This pile we had already used before we kind of rummaged through it. Is that the one the pile we destroyed to bring the... Let's go back to the power source. I think the orange threads up there are, or is, where the power comes from. The flashing mycelium, I'm not sure, is actually the one connected. But if, oh, can we actually come through here? No, we can't. Come on, you guys, wake up, please. Can I use the battery on this side? Throw the battery at the frog. How about that? Is that an option? So we can do something. I cannot do that. But there is something we can use then. So what can I grab? Wow. Well, only took us half an hour to, well, only took me half an hour to get to there, 25 minutes. Let's not exaggerate. But now we're free. We're free, we can use the boat, finally, so it's good. I closed my blinds, we're going on an adventure. Alright. Is it a saddle? Kind of. It looks like those rides you can find at the park for children. Excuse me? Oh, it's a call. Right. And so now I can call it from the other side, maybe, and then it will wake up and... Whoops. Okay. Let's do this. Now we have it. So let's give it a reason to move. Go. Good morning. Aha, so the turtle is not the ferryman. It was just blocking the way. Well then. Alright, off we go. I want to see the viewpoint. Also, there was on the map there was a symbol, there were notes, there was music. I wanted to see what that was about. And lots of ferns, lots of moss. Tucked away in stony caves, quite dark, ferns play a vital role and leave their mark. Together with fungi, they enable life even here, where light is dim and everything is mere. I have a fern here in my apartment. Absolute banging plant. It's massive. It's actually huge. From my grandmother, she traded hers, or the one that I have, she traded it for a fake fern because it was okay. So we have to grab the battery first because it was just getting too complicated for her to take care of the fern. It was getting too massive, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's not. It's definitely not on its last legs. It's doing well. It's doing quite well, but there's barely any soil left in it. I'm counting the days for all my plants. For all my plants, really, I'm counting the days until it's not so cold. Until I can go outside and repot, or at least add some more soil to most, if not all of them, because they're getting quite tight. Some of them are quite tight in their pot, and the other ones are just quite simply there's barely any soil left in there. So there's something to do here, but I have nothing. But now I see that I can come out under... Oh, we can keep going up. Okay, well, next level up. That was the viewpoint. And let's see what this is. But, oh, and I apologize, there are spider webs around here, so clearly we might encounter spiders. So if anyone here has arachnophobia, be forewarned. Let's look at the symbols. So winter for the owl, spring for, what would that be, a woodpecker? We have summer for the heron, and autumn for whatever, a jay maybe, or something of the sort, for the other crested bird. So we will have to figure out what they mean. So that's a path we can take. I suppose we end up inside the machine. Okay, alright. So bird calls. We'll figure that out. Let's see what's inside first. We can grab that. It looks to be a lens of some sort. Oh, it's the okay. Yeah, it's the lens for the observatory, or the long view. Can you say that? It was big enough to maybe be a telescope even. As a symbol of nature, the Tree of Life stands tall, connecting everything on the island from great to small. In spring, its giant crown comes alive, everything blossoms, and its leaves start to thrive. So, would that mean we are in spring? Spring or summer? And then we have to match with the bird call, because that second bird anyway looked like the one that was next to, it was in the foreground, next to the telescope. So I'm guessing we are in spring. More symbols, okay. So it uses the round, so we need the call that has the lines, like a ruler. The stone that uses that is marked with the circle, and we have to get it down to the second level. Perfect. Now what do we have here? Like tiny beds and in beams of light, it catches water as a true delight for flora, fauna, fungi that need dampy air. For all these beings, it's moss that offers its care. Very good. So the circle we wanted, well, we have what we wanted, and then we had to pull it to the second level. Excellent. What kind of bird is that? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure, even if I did know, I'm not even sure I would know the English name for it. If you guys know what kind of bird that is, let me know in the comments. So we will put the lens on the view, on the telescope, and we will call it a day. Bit of a struggle to begin, but all in all, we did make some progress. Let's see what we can find from here. Wow. There we go. It's the bumpers. I'm using an Xbox controller, like I mentioned last time. So it's the bumpers. It's not the sticks, and it is not the... Oh. What is happening here? Is that someone's carrying a tree or pulling a tree? Not a big fan of that, and we can see here the forest has been cut. or destroyed in any case. Can't see much from there, except there we have it, the giant from the beginning. Going towards the tree, that is not good. And see, that's what I meant, the bird in the foreground. But that's it, we will call it a day for now. I will say, for next week, we will not be going back to Chants of Sinar yet. We won't be continuing Guardian of Nature either. The Steam Spring Sale, well, I wouldn't say just started, it started a couple of weeks ago, but I had a couple of games in there, one especially that was on special, and I bought it, and I cannot wait to go back to it. I tried there was a demo way back then, well, last year I believe, and I cannot wait to get back to it, and so that's what we will be doing next week, but I will not say more just yet. You will have to wait and see what game it is. So I hope I will see you there. And of course, as always, until then, do remember to slow down and to take care of yourselves. À la prochaine!